right. According to that, we are live. We are live. We are live. We are live. This is Soapbox Heroes, and I am here with Robert Kelly. Always
Hello.
glad to have Robert on. I'm gonna take a second to share with some people. Today we're gonna be talking about the abortion ban. The abortion ban. Where is it, Robert? And look, and I don't know much about it. Over the last couple of days, I've had my nose in all kind of other stuff, and so I haven't. I'm gonna ask you questions coming from a complete layman's point of view, because I don't know.
Right. Well, you know what? The best thing to do is to kind of just start at the beginning, and
Right.
it all began in 2017 with Alabama actually passing an amendment to their state constitution. That it was the amendment number 2 to their state constitution. It was voted on by the people, because you need the votes to require a constitutional amendment in Alabama. You need to vote of the people, and the constitutional amendment said that that fetuses have a right to life. That Alabama is committed to protecting the lives of unborn children. The reason they changed the constitutional amendment, because the constitutional amendment did not ban abortion, but what it did was it gave them the right to do so if they ever chose to. Okay. Because first of all, and so now they basically acted on what they did by passing that amendment by going full scale ban on abortion. And at first glance, it's just a very harsh law, because you think about it.
Okay. The people voted it in, though, for the original amendment.
The amendment, the right to life amendment, right? The amendment that says that Alabama was like one of their priorities was to protect life, the life of unborn fetuses, to unborn babies. You know what I mean? They have it's a pro-life approach to their constitution. So basically, because the first thing you would be thinking about an abortion ban, the first thing people would do is say, well, that's unconstitutional.
Right.
Right? Well, They made it so in their constitution they could do it, and then they did it.
Okay. And look, and like I said here, let me share a little bit more. I'm sharing, and we here with Robert. And look, it was funny because I was about to go live and start talking about some other things and doing another show, and I was getting here and I was scanning through the news and I was looking through social media, and I was like, it's a lot of news going on about this abortion ban. And the first thing that came through my mind was like, who could I talk to about what's currently going on? And then first I said, Robert. And so I text Robert, and as I text Robert, I get a thing saying Robert is now live talking about the abortion ban. So yeah, I'm glad that I caught you on this one. So yeah, Robert, and like I said, so what's all the backlash? Why is everybody so mad? Just explain it. Why is everybody so mad?
Abortion's always been a polarizing issue. There's always been 2 major camps. It's the pro-life to varying degrees. They do not want abortion to be legal or the government to fund things like Planned Parenthood that perform abortions. And then there's the pro-choice that believe that abortion should be the choice of doctors, the choice of women, or should, for any reasons, that anyone that wants an abortion should be able to have one. And so basically those 2 camps have been on opposite sides of each other since the 70s. In the 70s, there was a ruling by the Supreme Court, Roe versus Wade. Roe versus Wade just made it so that abortions were, and since a state could not outlaw abortion, abortion was supposed to be a right to given to women under any circumstance. And so that was with that decision. So since then, it's been a polarizing issue. What I don't get about it is, why is this a political issue? Because to me, abortion is not a political issue. It's not something that it's a medical issue. I don't think that politicians should really be speaking on abortion, but unfortunately, because it's something that does affect our lives in different ways, in different aspects, and people demand action out of their government for things like abortion. It has become a political debate. And I think because it's in that political realm, it actually pulls away political energy from other things, because it's one of those things that kind of separates people. They choose. It's another thing to draw battle lines for people that would otherwise be a lot more alike, or than they seem.
Okay, are politicians using this as a political football right now, or is it just the timing? Because I noticed it happened in Alabama, but you see the news is nationwide. I mean, it's everywhere.
Well, yeah, of course. When something happens on a state level like this, what happens is precedents get set. Other states get to look and say, we are pro-life legislature, or I'm a pro-life governor, or I have pro-life constituents. Let's see how Alabama actually was successful on this, and let's try to copy what they're doing. And then other states that are that may have more pro-choice constituents or legislatures are going to say, how did they let this happen in Alabama, and how can we prevent that from happening in our state? Then but also let's not miss the bigger picture here. The reason Alabama did this, the reason they amended the Constitution, and the reason that they now passed this abortion ban is because they are now going to try to get this case tried in the Supreme Court. They're trying to get Roe versus Wade overturned. And if Roe versus Wade is overturned, it's going to be a lot easier for states to ban abortion in their state. So what's going to happen is, so this is me, not even prophesying. This is easy call. This is easy money. Someone is going to attempt to either perform an abortion or have an abortion in Alabama that and they're going to be prosecuted. They are going to the federal court of appeals with this, claiming that it's unconstitutional. This will then go up the chain. It may get picked up by the Supreme Court. And if it's picked up by the Supreme Court, then that is the battle that the state of Alabama wants to have. So this outright ban on abortion is to provoke a national conversation in the Supreme Court.
Okay, so you think they're just trying to elevate it to the Supreme Court? What do you?
Well, think I don't think that I know that they actually said it.
Okay, what do you think the effects are going to be? Do you think it's going to be a big fallout? And do you think that this is what I hear a lot. I hear we got a bunch of men legislating on women issues. What's the validity of that?
Well, women get to vote, and they elected these men to decide on legislative issues. So that's ludicrous. But I see what people are saying, but it's not really well thought through. Especially when the governor of Alabama is a woman. She could have vetoed it, but she didn't veto it. She signed it into law. So there's a woman also making decisions as well. So, I mean, great. I understand what people are saying and they're outraged, but guess what? There are women. I have doctors that are women. I go to the doctor. It's a woman. She makes decisions, helps make health decisions for me. And vice versa, where my wife had a gynecologist that was a man. He helped make health decisions for her. This is not okay. I think that if you're saying politicians making decisions, like I said, I don't believe it's a political issue. But as far as the sex of the person, then this decision, I think this is a decision that should be made regardless of sex by doctors and by patients.
Okay, how would doctors and patients make the decision? So you think it's a one-on-one thing? You don't think it should be? Should there be a law on abortions? Period. No law. What do you think?
No law. I don't think there should be a law on. I don't think there should be a law on that prevents women from having abortions. And the reason being is because abortion is not something that the state government or the United States government should be involved in. I think that they should allow women to make decisions on their health based on talking to their doctor and based on their own wants and needs. Just like this. Think about it like this, Tyrone. If I decided today that I really was born a woman and I wanted to become a woman, I could pay money to a plastic surgeon and I could go become another total sex of person, and you would have to acknowledge that I'm a woman, right? But when a woman wants to have a medical procedure done, another at times elective medical procedure done in the form of an abortion, now we have so much to say. I don't understand. You know what I mean? How do we have one without the other?
Okay, what do you think that it's a religious thing? How much does religion play into it? Because is it a moral thing? Is it a religion thing? Like, let's get
It is a religion.
what is it tied to?
It's a religious thing, 100%. And the reason I know it's a religious thing is because if you look at the Pell, I mean, if you look at the like different surveys, different like polling, and things of that nature, Alabama, on all accounts, is the most religious state in the union. Okay, they are. It's a very, very Christian, deep South Bible Belt state, and the only basis that a government or a person has when you tell them that they want to restrict, when they say they want to restrict abortion, the only basis that they ever seem to have for restricting abortion is a religious one. And even if
Yeah.
they try to make it medical in some sense, they try to make it medical. There's still religious people trying to make it medical. There's if it was merely about women and protecting life and protecting people, then it just really boggles me that the same people that vote for a vote against abortions or will restrict a woman's right to have an abortion will vote in favor of capital punishment and the death penalty in the same state. So I don't understand.
Okay. What would you say to somebody who says, "Well, that's a life, and as soon as it's a life, then you're murdering a child"? What do you say to that? Because there's a lot of people with that mind frame. And again, I'm just asking you questions from somebody who don't know nothing about what's going on, and I'm just making sure I ask a diversity of questions. So, what would you say to people who say that?
That's a good question because that comes up a lot, and it's hyperbole. It's hyperbole. The majority, believe it or not, a lot of very few, I won't say very few, I will say a lot of times women, there are fertilized eggs that women pass either through, urination or something else, or they just have miscarriage and they didn't even know. And because they were pregnant, they didn't even know. Or a lot of fetuses die on their own in the first 3 months. Okay, they can't live independent of women. So if are you going to punish a woman for having a miscarriage because it was a life and then a baby, somehow they didn't take care of their baby? Is that child endangerment? Of course not. So why would you say that a fetus, why would you compare a fetus to a human being that's living outside of a womb? You cannot do that.
Okay. Jakari says, "We'll be overcrowded with people." Bang said it. Yeah. Jakari he gonna put you to task. He said we're gonna be overcrowded with people.
I don't think so, but I mean, hey, I don't think that's it, and I don't think people. I don't know. I won't even leave that alone.
What's good, Brandon? Thank you for sharing. Hi, Erica, Nashane. But yeah, and like I said, so what about the people who are going to say, you know what? This is immoral. It's just plain immoral. You're killing a baby.
I believe that there's a lot of different ways that people exercise morality. I think morality is sometimes something being moral or immoral. Sometimes can be looked at as a convenience word. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I think what's immoral is for you to try to legislate a woman's body. I think it's immoral for you to tell a woman what medical decisions she can make with her doctor. And those are the things, that's what you're basically doing right now. You're not there, so it's like, okay, so are we going to take a fetus that is not born, and give them the rights of an American citizen over another American citizen, which just happens to be their mother?
So you're saying that if they're saying it's already a life, then you just gave me something to think about. So you're going to give the fetus more rights than the mother since the fetus is already a life? That's what you're pretty much saying?
Right. If they're saying that a fetus is already a life, that fetus is what? Is that fetus what, an American citizen? What makes you an American citizen? Being born in America, right?
Well, I think they say it's a life based as far as the it being a life inside the mother's womb, it having not the life outside on earth, living, breathing the fog, the smog, or whatever you want to call it, but it's already it's a life form, it's an organism, or it's something growing into a human, that type of life.
Well, it's growing into a human. If they would agree on that, then that would mean that it's not yet a human. And if it's not yet a human, then why would we give it human rights?
Okay.
It's attached to a woman. I'm not trying to sound insensitive here, but it's a fetus attached to a woman, as in that fetus would not survive without that woman.
Okay.
And one of the things that it makes you a human is autonomy from other humans. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
There's
right.
in no way is that fetus autonomous from another human. And so I agree with the way. See, there's a stance going with the way that Roe versus Wade has it. And I was just reading up on this, and I'm so glad I was reading up on this before this happened. It's basically with the way the Supreme Court puts it is that between the first month and the 3 months, the first trimester, it's totally up to the woman, right? Second trimester, the state can regulate some of that, right? And in the third trimester, only in the cases of a woman's health and safety, if it's at risk, should there be abortion. And that is, just following the words of Justice Thurgood Marshall. Justice Thurgood Marshall. That's the way he felt about it, and the way the Supreme Court looked at it at that time as well. So if they're talking about banning abortions off the rip, and then you have other states tightening on abortion laws where you can't have an abortion after 6 weeks. And so these type of laws really make it hard for women. Most women don't even know that they're pregnant until a couple of months in. I know with my children, I didn't find out that, my wife was having a baby until sometime in to the pregnancy. And so that automatically takes the decision out of their hands, out of the doctor's hands. The woman could be too old to have babies healthy. Like, the risk factors could be very high. They could be too young. It could be incest. It could be the result of cheating. It could be some kind of serious risk to the woman. It could be some psychological damage with the woman, or the woman could be going through deep depression. Women get diabetes when they're pregnant. They go through a lot of different things, and they're not taking a nuanced approach to this. I think everybody's pro-life. Whether you're pro-choice, you're still pro-life. Nobody wants to see children harmed, but fetuses are not children.
So you're saying fetuses are not children. Go ahead.
They're not.
Yeah.
They're not. This is not a political issue. This is a medical issue. And could you imagine if your doctor, if your government said that there were certain things you couldn't do to say you were treating terminal cancer, and then your doctor said there were certain things, not the doctor didn't decide what your course of care was, but the government got a chance to decide what you can and cannot do with your body and what your course of care was. You would feel powerless to do the things that you need to do to make the best medical decisions for you. And that is what's going on here with women. And that's terrible.
All right. Look, now you have people, again, this is happening in Alabama, and I think I just read that Missouri has an 8-week abortion ban or something to that effect. I'm going to have to look into that a little bit. Missouri GOP lead legislator passes 8-week abortion ban. And so that happened about 2 hours ago. It said that they had passed an abortion ban in Missouri. But I know, far as Alabama, man, that's the Bible Belt. And in the Bible, it says you're not supposed to have abortions. And so,
what?
Well, I don't know if that's exactly right. I'm just saying what I've been hearing. I'm not gonna get into the deep philosophical or religious aspects of it. But what I'm trying to point out is, it seems like that's where a lot of it is coming from, is based on some type of religious morality or something like that. And what do you think? I got somebody want to join. Chris want to join. What you think?
All right, let him in.
Yeah. All right, Chris. I'm about to send you the I'm gonna send you the link now, Chris.
Oh, is that Chris from yesterday? From the day before yesterday?
Yeah.
The young man.
Yeah, from Vegas.
Oh, Jesse Lee Peterson Deuce.
Jesse Lee Peterson.
Jesse Lee Peterson II. This guy, oh my goodness, this is going to be terrific. Yeah, let him in.
All
And
right.
I just want to say that it's for these states to just say, oh, 8 weeks or just off the people. Some people don't know that they're pregnant. It's like almost like you're giving people a time limit to even find out that they're pregnant. When a lot of people are accidents, it just doesn't make sense.
All right. Look, wasn't it wasn't too long ago that wasn't there so I forget what state it was in, but they have passed legislation where you can have an abortion like almost up to birth or 8 months and something to that. So it seems like you have two different extremes going on right now, and
Right.
it seems like that's where a lot of the problem lies. What do you think about that? Why do we have extremes? What do you think would just be a good solution?
Good. The good solution is for the government. I don't know. This is what I understand about conservatives. Conservatives are against are always telling the government. They always into what they call small government, and that the government should stay out of the affairs of citizens until it's time to tell women what to do with their bodies. And now it's, oh, the government needs to intervene. This is terrible. Like you can't. It's hypocritical on so many levels. You're voting for the death penalty to kill people, but you're protecting fetuses. But you're killing people.
So you're
Let's go,
saying
man.
that they're inconsistent because they'll go ahead and do the death penalty, but when it comes to kids, they want the kids to force a mother to give birth to a child.
Right. And then think about it like this. In the Bible, and I think you remember this from my debate with Tommy Israel, where I pointed out in Numbers, in the book of Numbers, chapter 5, where it actually condones abortion in certain cases.
Hmm. Okay, and like I said, we're going to have to. That might be a whole different debate or topic to talk about. Is the validity of abortions being in the Bible, or what the Bible says about abortions, because that is, I think that is the root of a lot of what's going on with this. Look, I heard this as well. A friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, the other night, he was sitting there telling me, and like I said, because I don't know really what was going on, but he was giving me his synopsis of it, and he was saying he think it's about population control. He's saying because Europeans are not going to be the dominant race far as numbers in in the United States in years coming, and so this is their way of making sure their population goes up because they're getting abortions at 36% or something like that. And so he's
Hmm.
saying between that and the wall and other things that they're trying to do with Trump's new immigration thing, I guess he came out the other day. He said when you jumble it all together, and I'm paraphrasing what he said, I'm just telling you about what he said, isn't word for word.
Hmm.
He said it a lot more articulately than I'm saying it now. But he's saying that it just seems like it's them trying to expand their race. What do you think about that?
I think again, like we discussed right before we went on air, when people have something, they're going to try to preserve what they have, and I think that some of that is indirectly some of these things are an indirect result of wanting to protect. They want America to be a nation of white people, as it's been in the past. They see the population trends. They're not dumb, and but the thing is that. Uh, you can't really the things that they're doing are futile in that kind of effort. And so banning abortion to keep white people from having abortions, that's not going to make any sense, because we saw what was going on before abortions were legal. People were having back alley abortions, women were throwing babies in trash cans, things of that nature. So people were, it was a way worse. The worst of society was coming out in
Uh,
desperation. So they need to,
somebody,
really think about this a little bit better.
I just got a text. Somebody said Charlemagne said something like that on the Breakfast Club. I don't know. I don't really listen to the Breakfast Club.
Yeah,
I didn't get it from Charlemagne. I got it from
I try not to.
a good friend of mine. Hey, Floyd Butler, how you doing? And here, Brandon Turner says the fact that states are playing judge and jury over people's personal life choices is a very slippery slope. Are states going to start making mothers who are being forced to raise their children pay child support to the child or to the state? Next, if they decide to give the child up for adoption, ooh, okay. Chris, how you doing? What are that? Do you see your name? I see your name, Chris. Introduce yourself, man. Let everybody know who you are.
How y'all doing? This is
Turn down your
Jesse Lee
computer.
Peterson Jr.
Turn down
Oh,
your
you didn't
computer.
listen.
We're getting some back feed.
Oh, hold on. I'm sorry. Let me get my headphones. I'll come right back.
Okay. Uncle Mike, Mike Smith Jr., how you doing, Mike? Marzella, hi, Auntie. Tanika Woods, Jakari, Bang said it. Nashane, what's going on with the abortion ban? Yeah, and like I said, there's a bunch of different angles and aspects, and we're about to find out what Chris says. And I'm laughing because you called him Jesse Lee Peterson Jr. and it
Right.
comes out of his screen.
And he embraced it.
It say Jesse Lee Peterson Jr. I don't know. Maybe he's being sarcastic. We gotta wait. We gotta wait to hear what the man got to say. He went to get his headphones. Hey, you guys, we're not doing it on YouTube this time because Robert was already previously going on Facebook to talk about it, and I actually I kidnapped him. I said, "Come on, Robert," and so he jumped on, and so we did it. I wanted to keep the integrity of the platform. He was already going on to make sure we could tag him, and so he could do the same thing. But yeah, we're talking about the abortion ban. We got Chris coming. He calls himself Jesse Lee Peterson Jr. And so we're gonna get to find out. We're gonna get to find out what Chris have to say. But yeah, so go ahead, Chris. Let everybody know who you are and give us your thoughts on what's going on. What's up with the abortion ban?
I don't know much about the abortion ban. I'm messing up the thing here. Oops. But I don't know anything about abortion. I didn't look into it. It just popped up. And I noticed everybody in there was talking abortion. So then, and it seems right. They have a ban on abortion.
You breaking up, Chris? Is he breaking up to you too, Robert, or is that just me?
Yeah, he's breaking up.
Jesse Lee Peterson
Can you hear
Jr.
him?
No, you breaking up. It sounds like you in a bad area. You got your Wi-Fi turned on.
Hold on. Let me something else.
Jesse Lee Peterson Jr. with the
Come back.
with the Wi-Fi, no fi. Brian Payne says,
Obama phone.
"Yeah, boy, the Obama phone ain't working." If that you say you got the Obama phone, L. Martin, old men, white men, and see, yeah, that's what I hear a lot of people saying. If this is old white men that are legislating on women's bodies, Brian Payne says, "What's going on, Brian?" He says, "I don't understand how a woman reproductive system can be 0% my business, but it's 100% my financial business." What do you got to say about that, Robert?
Only the wombs that you decide to go in and paint the walls, buddy. If you don't want to look, this is what I guarantee you 100%. If you don't have sex with women, you definitely 100% will not have any kids. I guarantee it. Now, and if you have a problem with a woman having a child and having your child, but you didn't have a problem having sex with them, you got other issues to think about, bro. You might want to, maybe settle down, get married, and then just only have children with one woman the woman that you actually care about.
All right. Well, Brian also says, he says, women can have the right to do whatever they want with their body. Men should have the right to walk away if they choose as well. Instead, we are trapped, forced regardless of our choice. He also says, so if we don't have a choice, why should a woman have a choice? Equal protection under the law.
I agree with the fact that I've always thought that with the child support system, I've always agreed that if a woman can get rid of a baby or have an abortion, that a man should be able to opt out of being a parent as well. But that's not what the law is. But also, what I would say to that is equal protection under law. We're talking about two different things. We're talking about a man's that's actually a civil judgment, something that could be fought in court. What they're doing to women right now is they're actually imposing their will on their own medical issue. So let's remember, this is not a political issue. This is a medical issue.
Well,
But I do believe men should have the right to opt out of raising a child if they so desire,
well,
with they're not married to.
well, Brian, I want to ask Brian a question. If Brian is still watching, okay, if you're trying to correlate abortion with child support, so are you against the ban or are you for the ban? Because if you're for the abortion ban, don't that mean more men paying child support? And let me ask you that. So let me know what you think about that, Brian, or what are you trying to say? Are you for the abortion ban or are you against the abortion ban? Because I'm just trying to talk about it in the context in which you're putting it when you put it in the arena of child support. Again, let me know what you think, because it kind of seems like if you're against the abortion ban, that's going to be more child support for different people. What do you think, Robert? Do that make sense what I'm asking?
Yeah, absolutely. It absolutely makes sense, but that it just shows that the two areas themselves are not, they don't correlate. Okay, this is do not take away. We cannot have the government making medical decisions for women. It has nothing to do with the civil decisions that the government has made for men already. So this is a civil decision. Like, if we have a problem with the child support system, we need to stand up and we need to get laws changed, and we need to have people advocate. We need to advocate for stuff like that, because a law change will fix that totally. The government needs to stay out of women's wombs. Point blank, period.
Okay, and Brian, let me know when you get a chance. Jesse Lee Peterson, numero dos, you there?
I'm here. I'm breaking up.
Yeah, you
Can
breaking
you
up
hear
still.
me?
Yeah, but you're breaking it bad. Maybe you should try to turn your Wi-Fi off. Maybe the Wi-Fi signal is bad. Maybe if you turn it off and just, are you on your computer or on your phone? Over there live in the Jesse Lee Peterson Jr. Studios, Las Vegas, Nevada.
I'm blowing it. Relax. People hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you a little bit better. Go ahead.
Damn it. Well, I just wanted to say 80% of those that are happening in Alabama are happening with black babies, and black people only make 25% of the population in Alabama. If you look across all states,
Oh yeah,
you like a similar story for the black people is that
you breaking up bad still, Jesse Lee Peterson Jr.
uh
Are you still breaking up bad? Are you on your
let me
phone or huh?
yeah, I'm right back.
Okay, yeah, come right back. Jump right back
I'll
on.
turn it on.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Look,
I already hear the rhetoric. He's gonna start giving the Turning Point USA talking points right now when he comes back on, and it's sad. That brother, he's too young. Like, for someone to follow Jesse Lee Peterson, he's very young, and I'm I'm disappointed.
well,
Already.
we got to hear what he got to say. You got to hear the man out.
Yep.
You got to hear the man out. I don't know what he was going to say. He was breaking up. He had his phone on inside elevator mode. And that's that mode where you can't hear nothing. Let me see. Brian Payne came back and Brian said, I think women should have the right to choose based on their situation. Child support is voluntary, as a voluntary contract with 42 USC. Okay, he gives the statute, single and separate entail. It's a private business contract under the exclusive branch. Okay, under the exclusive branch to create non-custodial parents for profit. 4013 Section C, general eligibility under 3 non-custodial parents. They made it quite clear it is a contract that you are enrolled in a project and you need your corporation. Child support hearing are not court and are not in the best interest of your child. Okay,
I
and
think I think
go
there is
ahead.
some in some cases child support the way the system is set up, it's not in the best interest of the child. I think this is what I believe, because I was just actually having this conversation with my wife yesterday. I said that I believe that child support was something that people saw that was necessary, people needing to support your child, and the government having some way to facilitate that sometimes in some cases. And then on top of that, though, they saw an opportunity to take advantage of something. And there's people that have taken advantage of parts of a system that definitely needs to be reformed. I think that probably somebody like Anthony Rivers will be a lot more equipped to talk about something like that, but definitely needs to be some kind of reform. And I think there needs to be some more advocacy, because you imagine a politician coming out and saying, I want to help reform the child support system because I think fathers or people that are paying or non-custodial parents are getting the raw end of the deal. They never get elected to do it. So that's why you don't see too much going on in that area. So it's unfortunate, but again, it has nothing to do with this. This is an existential threat to women.
I think it's interesting that child support comes up in the abortion conversation.
Right. That's why I keep intertwined. That's why I keep trying to swing it back. That they don't. This is, come on, brothers.
Does it connect, Brian Payne? Let me know if it connects, and if it connects, let me know how. I'm just trying to put it all together. Let's see. Go ahead.
You gotta think about women. It's time to think about somebody other than yourself, man. It's really not about you, man. You gotta back up and look at this for what it is and what they're trying to do to women. It's not about you. Don't put yourself in this. Just be a part of the fight. You understand what I'm saying?
Nashana says it can also be an abstinence control. It can also be an abstinence control. If you put that fear on a person about that, then they may think about then that may make people want to slow down when they think about sex. So she's saying if you put the fear on them, it might make you want to slow down before you bump and grind. If you know, hey, I can't get an abortion. She's like, hey, I can't get an abortion. It's illegal. So it might slow down on the just the hopping around.
They've been putting the fear on people about sex for the longest. That the fear don't work. The fear make it fun, as a matter of fact.
The fear make it fun. Daryl Gall, what's up, Syke? Daryl says, I agree with Robert. All right, ding ding. You got some people agreeing with you today, Robert. I don't know what's going on today.
Hey, tell him to drop
came back and he left. Go ahead.
Tell him to drop wherever he works. I'm gonna call his boss and ask to give him a raise.
Hey, give him a raise. Hey, he deserved that and more. That's a good guy out there, man. I've known Daryl since I was young, man. I looked up to Daryl. Yeah, man. But like I said, so there's a lot of different variations to this. Why do you think that they should just do you think there should be no restrictions on abortion? Or do you think that there should be some type of sensible restrictions on abortion? When is a fetus alive? What do you think?
I think that there should be some type of restriction. I like the way that it is now, where if it's in the first 3 months, there is no restrictions. In the second trimester, there are different regulations that may be in place depending on your state. And in the third trimester, if you've already waited to the third trimester and you're still thinking about an abortion, let that go, because you're just gonna you're having a baby. You know, I mean, to me, that's fine. That's a way to protect life, because if a woman has a baby right now with medical technology in their 7th month, 8th month, or 9th month, no matter when that baby comes out, they can we can incubate them. We can do a lot of things at that point. Okay, the 4, 5, and 6. That's, you know what I mean? Not a lot of babies are going to live outside the womb in that area. And in the first 3 months, certainly not. And I think that that first and second trimester, the first trimester definitely, I mean, a lot of miscarriages happen in the first trimester. You're going to punish women for miscarriages? I mean, come on. Okay. And in the second trimester, maybe some government regulation over that.
Okay, so maybe government regulation and after the second trimester. All right, we got Chris here. Oh, Chris, you took down the Jesse Lee Peterson Jr. You took it down. What are you running? You
No, I had to switch computers, technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties. All right, everybody, we got Chris here. Hey, Chris wanted to jump on and say something. And again, if you guys are here, actually, we're not doing it on YouTube this time because, like I said, Robert was already doing it on Facebook, and we wanted to tap in and make sure all his people got to see it as well. But if you guys get a chance, go over to the Soapbox Heroes channel on YouTube, hit the subscribe, and turn on your notification bell. We do things like this all the time. Later on this evening, I'm going to come back. I did some reporting on Pamela Turner, the lady in Baytown, Texas, that was shot and killed by a police officer. So I went down, did some real in-depth reporting. I got some witness testimony, things of that nature, interviewed Trey the Truth. He's an activist and a rapper out here in Houston. So you guys check that out. We're going to come and talk about that tonight. Chris, let them know, man, what's going on? What's on your mind?
It is so much fun talking about abortions.
Oh, really?
It's one of
We
the
need
most
some women in this
interesting.
talk.
Yeah, we do. It's so interesting listening to people try to explain away this stuff when the facts is right in people's face, and it really exposes that people really just don't care. 80% of the abortions that are happening in Alabama are black babies, and according to the GutmeyerInstitute.org, which studies abortions along with the CDC. And it's also studies that says Alabama has the lowest education, and 25% of their population are black. So I don't want to get to connecting dots, but if you look at it, Alabama has low education, a quarter of the people are black, and 80% of the abortions are by black women. Another study I looked at said black babies or black people in general die more to abortion than any other cause of death since 1973. I don't know how true that is, but it's interesting to think about when you got cities like New York where
He hit the Go ahead. You you got your computer in elevator mode again. Uh-oh. All right.
Hey, you know what? That was interesting what he had to say.
JLP Jr. gonna come back. I hope he come back. I hope he come back. Yeah,
he said he didn't want to connect the dots, but he was gonna have to tie all those together.
There you go. Chris, you back?
Am I back?
Yes, you are back. Go ahead, Chris. You were
Illuminati or something. I don't know. But yeah, back
Go
to
ahead,
what I was
Chris.
saying. Cities like New York, where you have more black babies getting aborted every single day than are born. So it's confusing to me that people say they're like pro-black and they love black people, but yet are so for abortions when all over the country more black women are getting abortions than any other race. It's really, like, some people call it genocide. I just think it's pretty funny that so many black people are getting abortions. And even back when, I forget who said it, but one politician, y'all probably know better than me, said the abortions were for black people anyways. It's crazy how they try to say, oh, it's a clump of cells and it's not really a life before this or that. And then they get so upset at you for saying, oh, how are you going to make a decision over a woman's body? But meanwhile, women are making decisions over the bodies that are developing inside of them. So what gives the women a right to choose should that life die or live? They always try to say women are protecting themselves, but it's not really protecting themselves. If they were protecting themselves, they wouldn't be having so much sex. And then they always try to say rape. Oh, what about the women who were raped? Well, what about the 1%, less than 1% of women who get abortions due to rape? What about them? We can talk about that in a separate thing, I feel like. But as far as most abortions go, has nothing to do with rape. 99.9% happen for other reasons, and they make up reasons. Like you said, that some states, I think it was Vermont or some state, a couple states allowed you to get abortions up to the 9th month. And I remember reading those. I remember reading those bills, and according to the bill, they could essentially just make up whatever reason they wanted. They said it was for women's health, but in reality, it was you could make up whatever reason. You could say you didn't have enough money, so that means you could get an abortion. You can make up any excuse to get an abortion in those states where they have the 9-month laws. abortions are most definitely killing people, and it's not right. And another thing they always try to say is, what about back alley abortions? What about if we make it illegal, they'll just go get them done illegally? Well, in that case, I feel like, yeah, that could happen, but those people should go to jail because they're doing illegal operations. The same way we don't have crack cocaine legal, but people still sell it, and if they get caught, they go to jail. So if women are so into protecting themselves and protecting their bodies, you should not have sex with men. And if you are raped or something like that, that's unfortunate for you, but you really should think about not having that anger, because if you have a raped baby and you give him that same anger, then he's going to grow up hating himself and hating his dad and hating his life. Whereas you could give birth to a raped baby, and if you forgive, then you'll have a baby, a normal baby. You won't have a baby with all those mental problems
Hold
because
on,
his
man.
mother
Hold
isn't
on. Hold on. Hold
resentful.
on. Hold on. You're doing
All
too
right,
much.
all right, go ahead, Robert. Robert,
You're
but
doing.
look, Chris is saying you guys is hypocrites. I hear you, Chris. Go ahead, Robert. I hear you,
All right.
Chris. Go
First
ahead,
of
Rob.
all, you're to address the pro-black issue that you brought up, that it because the majority of abortions proportionately affect black babies, you can't call yourself pro-black if you are pro-abortion. Now, there's a difference between being. I'm not for abortion. Like, personally, I would rather no one had an abortion. I would rather that the things that exist that cause people to have abortions, or the reasons that exist that cause people to have abortions, didn't exist. I wish poverty didn't exist, because a lot of people have abortions because they feel like they don't have the financial means to support a child. I wish it didn't exist. I wish it didn't exist that women would have health issues that would cause them to not be able to have a baby. I wish that didn't exist. Okay? But the thing is that they do. And so the decision, who
So
makes the
why are they
decision
having
for what
sex if they
have a,
have all these issues? They should not be having sex out of wedlock if they have
wait,
these issues.
wait, everybody that has an abortion, everyone that has an abortion is not having sex out of wedlock. But let's look at
Yes,
the
they
issue
are.
that I'm trying to address.
Most of
Hold
them.
on, let's
Go
go
ahead,
over
Robert.
what we're really trying to address here. And that you're saying if someone cannot be pro black and do that, okay? So basically, when you are standing up for black women, you are pro black. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's basically what it is. This is about, can a government make medical decisions for another human being? They
No,
cannot.
that's not what it's about. Those are fancy
Why is it not
words, and
about that?
that's why I like this argument, because you get to see such linguistic skills on display.
No,
You
wait, wait,
said
wait,
it's
wait,
about
wait. How about this,
government
Chris? Let
making
me ask you a
medical
question. Let me
decisions.
ask you a question.
No, it's
Let
about
me ask you a
not
question. Let me
killing
ask you a question
unborn
first.
babies in the womb. The government
Let
isn't
me ask you
making
a
any
question.
medical
Let me ask
decisions.
you a
The
question.
women are making the medical
Chris,
decisions when they decide to kill the baby. And it's not a
let
medical
me ask you a
decision, it's a
question, Chris.
murder.
Let me ask you a question, Chris.
Yes, sir.
How is abortion a political issue? How do politicians get to make a decision on abortion? So describe the political issue of abortion, how that's something that a politician should be concerned with.
The same way politics make decisions about laws about who can enter our country, who we go to war with, whom you're allowed to kill and
Those are
murder,
all civil. Those are all civil decisions.
and so
Those are
when you
all
have a
civil
person
decisions.
being born
Something different.
inside a womb, if you have a person inside a womb trying to be born, he has a right to live the same way every other person does, I suppose. And politicians are protecting those people inside the womb. You just said pro-black is or pro-black something about helping black women. Well, black women are also inside people's wombs trying to be born, along with black men, and so many of them are dying. Like I said, in New York City, more black babies are born. I mean, more black babies are aborted every day than are born. And it's like that all over the country, to where you have black communities and so many black people are having so much sex out of wedlock because they are immoral. So therefore, they're going
Who
to
told you
have the
that sex?
abortion
Wait,
problem
who,
because
who decides who gets to have sex and when? Who does the government get to decide? Like, if they say they made a law that said you can't have sex unless you're married, is that the rule?
it should be.
Could the government do that? Can the government do that?
In some places, yes, our government doesn't do that.
But can they?
They could if the people wanted to. The government is for the
Well,
people,
why do
by
you
the people. So if the people felt
right?
that was right, then they would do that. It may be right to do that. And maybe if we had more people who were logical and thinking, they might come to that conclusion. I don't know. But government, like you said, in connecting abortion with politics, they are protecting people who are in people's wombs. A funny thing to me is
Wait.
these are
Government?
white
No, is the government
Republican
supposed
men.
to protect? Wait, who is the government? Who is the government supposed to protect?
The people.
The people. So,
Right.
so is the government? How is the government going to take away the rights of an American citizen for a potential maybe American citizen? Because a lot of people die before they're ever born, right?
Yeah.
So how are you going to protect the rights of someone that might, maybe, possibly become an American citizen over the rights of someone that is a bona fide 100% American citizen?
The way they're doing it by protecting those
You,
who are trying to
but
be
you can't.
born in the
But you
womb.
can't.
Why can't you?
But you
Why
can't
not?
do that because a fetus is not an American citizen. If we're talking about a civil issue, a fetus is not an American citizen.
He
But a
called me
woman is
Jesse Lee
American.
Peterson
But
Jr.
a
Are
woman
you an
born
alpha male or a beta male?
that doesn't.
Wait, who called
That's
you
not even a
Jesse
real.
Peterson
That's not a
Jr.?
real question.
Didn't he call me
Uh,
that?
Yeah, it was on your screen. Oh yeah, I think he
So
called you
no,
first.
he said it before. That's why I did that.
Right,
So
yeah,
are
right,
you an
because
right, right,
because
alpha
when
right.
you
male
were on the
or
show
a beta
the other
male?
day, because you were on the show the other day and you were giving all the Jesse Lee Peterson talking points.
All right,
So it
hey,
was
Jesse Lee
like
Peterson is a
you
smart
become
man. That's
hey,
why I
you
use his
become a
talking
clone.
points.
all right, here you
Um,
guys. Let me jump
You
in real
become a
quick.
clone.
Let me jump in real quick. Jamel Dean says, "Wow, time to think about the women." Man, I have been on this earth for almost 50 years, and we have always we always concentrated on supporting our women. I have
Okay.
never heard anyone talking about supporting the man in the same fashion.
Well, he needs to listen a
or
little
the
bit better
unborn
because this is a
babies.
man's world. This is a man's world. We support men all the time. What are you talking about? That's
Who?
crazy.
Do
I'm
we
speaking to the
support men
comment.
when we allow abortions to happen to black people? Is that supporting men?
Not
This is
Go ahead. And then Nashane says, "Do you know how hard it is to go through a pregnancy?" I think she was talking to you, Chris.
According to my mama, who had me 10 days after she turned 16, it's hard. She had a lot of stitches, and I have a big head. And so I could imagine it's hard. Yeah.
All right, go ahead, Robert. You got something that you wanted to add on?
He tried to throw
yeah.
Lady Hicks
I
in the
don't think
silly
anybody.
question.
I don't think anybody here is in the conversation because they're pro-abortion. I'm not pro-abortion. Like I said, I wish abortions never happened, but I don't believe it's the government's job to step in and tell a woman and a doctor or anyone else when someone should have a baby. I think that a right. American citizens have a right to
Amazing.
their own bodies and their own medical decisions. And when you make this a political issue, what you do is you're basically changing the narrative around it and shaming women for decisions that they have to make
They
medical
should be
decisions.
shamed for that. They should be shamed. The
So
problem
when should a
is
woman?
that
So if a woman is at risk of dying, should she be able to have an abortion?
so if a woman is gonna die,
You
should
don't
she have
know.
an abortion?
Hold on,
If
No,
a
let
I,
him
woman is
an-
at
I'm
let him
trying
risk
to
of
answer.
understand what
dying,
you're saying.
Okay.
if a woman is at risk of dying, should she be able to have an abortion?
If the woman herself is actually going to die because she's given birth to a baby, then yeah, I suppose that would be a critical enough reason to have an abortion. Yeah.
If a woman is schizophrenic and has psychological issues and can't take care of children, should she have a baby? Should she be
Why is
able
she
to have
having
an abortion?
sex? Why is that
That
woman having
doesn't matter.
sex?
Right?
Yeah, no, she
Look,
should
it
not be
doesn't
allowed to
matter.
have
She's
an
pregnant.
abortion. No.
It doesn't matter.
If
She's
a
pregnant.
woman is
Should she be able to
having
have an abortion?
sex of her own will and all that mess, the question of should she be able to have an abortion shouldn't even be on the table.
All right.
If the
I
Hey,
put the
baby has,
question on
if
the
the baby
table
is
for rape
deformed,
victims
if the
or
baby
about
is
to die
deformed in the
ladies,
room, if the
but
baby
I
is
won't put
deformed
the
in the
question on the table
womb
for a free
or has
will.
mental diseases like Down syndrome, should she be able to have an abortion?
No, you don't want Down syndrome people to live? Do you have
No.
something against them? You want them to be
If
dead?
somebody I don't want somebody to have to raise a child with deformity if they don't want to.
All
No.
right.
That's
Hey, you
amazing.
guys, look, we got somebody new on. We got Nashane. Hold on one second, Nashane. Let me read this comment real quick. Brian Payne says every state has a law that says anyone who has sex in the state automatically submits to the court's jurisdiction in regards of the child possibly born in result of the intercourse. The ban is to create more babies so the state can make more federal profit. So Brian is saying that they want more babies for more money. Now, Shanae, you there?
That's what I said. Yeah, I'm here. That's what I just said that, though. I just said that. Because the birthing rate is at an all-time low right now. So it has nothing to do with, they care about the look like for the welfare of the country in the next
Where
10,
you at?
15 years.
You got your camera on backwards. There you go.
No, I'm driving.
Okay, go ahead.
No, did you hear what I said?
Yeah. And then repeat what you said one more time. And then I was going to ask you, you said he can't speak for women. No. Who were you talking to?
No, he can't. I'm talking about Christopher. He can't speak for women. You don't know the emotional turmoil of what it's like to be through a pregnancy, especially one that could actually kill you towards the end. They're not just saying the abortion. They're saying if a woman miscarries, she could go to jail. So how can you sit up here and say, just like Rush said right now, if a person who was schizophrenic, yes, she did have sex, it could have been consensual because everybody has sex. But what happens if she gets pregnant and she decides, you know what, because I know how my mentality is and I know what my background looks like, I don't want to raise a child the same way? That's her right to make that decision. That is not, we're going to sit up here and we're going to
It's not her right
punish her
anymore in
because she made a
Alabama.
decision.
He says,
What
not
about
right in Alabama. Hold on. Go ahead, Nashane, because I seen you was in the comments.
True. The ban hasn't gone through. That ban hasn't even gone through.
Well, hopefully it won't be her right anymore.
That's the problem.
All right,
You said
Nashane.
everyone has sex. Why is that true?
It won't be her right anymore. You've never been
Oh, Nashane, you got your.
not once in your life, and you never will. So how can you ever say it's not her right?
How can you never say it's not her right, Chris? You never been pregnant.
Oh, Lord, I've never been pregnant. She's right. I guess I should shut up. I've never been pregnant. I don't know how to answer that. That's a silly point, and that's another reason I like the abortion argument, because it brings up so many silly, like when you see where people are coming from, you're like, wow.
Right.
She's all emotional, yelling at me, saying I can't make a choice over a woman's body, but meanwhile, all these women are making choices over bodies that do not belong to them in their body, which their body also does not belong to them. My body doesn't belong to me. Nashane's body doesn't belong to her, and no one's body belongs to them. According to the law of the land where we get our so-called rights from, our bodies belong to Social Security or something like that. And according to God, this world belongs to Satan, and if you are a child of Satan, then your body and your mind and all those things you claim are yours belong to him. And
so
if you
Chris
support abortion, you are most definitely a child of Satan.
So Chris is saying your body belongs.
I can't have a logical thought because I can't get pregnant. I'm pretty sure pushing a baby out of my asshole would hurt a whole lot. I don't have to actually do that to know that it sucks. It would be so nice if women were strong enough, or at least had moral character enough, especially black women, to not open their legs so much, knowing that they can get pregnant and knowing the risk that comes with it, and then turning around and trying to turn themselves into the heroes for pushing the babies out. It's so amazing how like this argument goes. It's so cute when you hear people try to explain away killing a baby in a womb, especially black babies, because so many black babies are getting aborted. I can't stress that enough. I was born in New York. It was more likely that I would have been aborted than born. And then once the black babies are born into this world, we teach them it's okay to have sex and do all this other mess, which furthers the cycle of destruction. It's so amazing watching people try to explain away killing babies in the womb. It's so amazing. You really see the children of Satan
Please
at
tell me
work.
that's your child in the back. Please tell me that's
No,
your
this
child
is
in the
my
background
nephew.
because then it lets me know that somebody's been through pregnancy in your life. Okay, so then that
Uh,
means somebody's been through a pregnancy in your life. So
a
then
lot of
they
people.
obviously, do you know about
I've seen babies
gestational diabetes?
die.
Do you
Just
know
last
about,
year,
do you know
one of
about,
my brother's
do
baby
you know
died in the
about
hospital.
All right, Chris, let her get in, Chris, and then we're gonna wrap this up here soon in a second. I gotta
do
go
you know
down
about
to the radio station.
preeclampsia?
Do I know about what?
Preeclampsia. Do you know what that is?
Preeclampsia?
Yes. So you can't talk until you go look that up. But when you do, understand that a child can be born in a hospital to a dead mother because her blood pressure raises up so far in the 9th month that she can die in utero giving birth to that child. And
Baby
guess
almost
what?
died
What if
just
she
now.
has children at home? What if she has children at home that she needs to go home to? So if she had to choose between her life and the baby's, you don't understand the emotional turmoil that comes from it. You don't understand the medical condition that comes from it. You can't say one word for a woman until you ask your woman.
Men
For those
aren't
black
supposed
women
to
that are,
understand emotional turmoils. We're not supposed to have those kind of things. That's a
so then
female
how can
thing.
you say that she doesn't
If
have
a
a voice?
woman has 5 children at home and she dies giving birth to the sixth, it would sure be nice if she had a man at home and wasn't having all these babies out of wedlock. And it would be really unfortunate for that woman and those children. But like I said, these bodies don't belong to us. And once you die, you give the body back to the earth, and the spirit goes to whoever it belongs to. So if that woman was a child of God, she'll be perfectly fine, and so will those babies. I don't feel any emotions about rape victims or black people getting murdered or any of that mess, but it is fun to point out the truth of the matter, which is that in Alabama, where this law passed, 80% of those abortions are happening to black people, and these are white male Republicans who are pushing to stop this. So it seems like the white male Christian Republicans seem to care a lot more about black babies because they're stopping the leading cause of their death
Wait,
by
wait, wait,
banning these
wait.
abortions. And
Okay, Chris,
That's a lot of
Chris,
reaching
hold
and
on,
pulling you're
hold on,
talking
Chris.
about.
So if you're saying that they care about it, why are the same conservative white Christian males cutting social programs for children, cutting things
because
like food
social
stamps and other
programs
things?
don't help. They
Look, they
don't
do
help.
help poor people. Social
Socialism
programs help
doesn't
poor
help. No,
people.
socialism
And they,
enables
so,
you to be
hold on.
weak.
You're saying socialism. I'm saying social programs.
Same
Social programs.
difference.
They're cutting things like Medicare.
Free
Why do you
stuff.
think Alabama? Hold on. Why do you think
It's
Alabama
free
has the
stuff.
worst for children? Why do you think they
Maybe
have the
because
worst?
they have so many social programs.
No, they have the worst because they make drastic cuts to education in Alabama. They
Well, I'd like
underfund
to look that up and
Alabama.
see if that's true.
Hold on, hold
They
on,
probably
hold on.
Hold
underfunded
on,
them
Wait,
because
Chris.
hold
they're
Hold
the
on.
lowest in
Hold on,
education.
Chris. Hold on, Chris. Let him finish.
You'll
Okay.
have a chance to
Oh,
talk
you
to
can,
this
Chris.
because I'm talking to you, or you'll have a chance to speak. They so when the baby is in the womb, it's protect that baby's right and force people to have babies if they don't want them. But when they come out, they're cutting social programs for impoverished folks, including impoverished children. Because there's a lot of hungry children in Alabama that don't have it. A lot of children in Alabama don't have health insurance, and they go to sorry ass schools. So those people care about children now?
Yes.
No, because it's all
Why
about
are the people, if they're
finances. No, they
suffering
don't.
so badly, why are they having so much sex out of wedlock? What is wrong with the black people in
Hold on,
Alabama
you ain't
that
even
they don't
answering my
Because
have
question.
maybe
common
they're
You're
so
not even
sense?
answering my
stressed out they
question.
gotta have sex. You don't
So if
think
you get
that? I mean,
stressed
come
out, you
on.
have sex? Is that what you do to relieve
There's
your
a lot of people
stress?
that turn to sex for mental clarity. Yeah,
All right, you
Oh,
guys, hold
amazing.
on. All right, here, let me
That's
turn
amazing.
this. Let me turn this another
Hey,
way, and I'm
let
gonna
me ask
make
you a
this.
question.
Go ahead, Nasser.
An
Who's it?
11-year-old gets raped. He becomes pregnant. The ban also says that she can get jail time for getting an abortion. How do you feel about that? Is it
An
her fault?
11-year-old gets raped. See, this is what I'm talking about with
It's actually a true
this
story. It just happened.
interesting argument. Everyone goes to the immediate emotional appeal instead of thinking with any kind of logic. She just said if an 11-year-old got raped, that's such an extreme scenario. I want to see how many 11-year-olds
It
are
just
getting raped and
happened.
getting pregnant and getting abortion. It
All right,
happened once out of how many
all right. Here, you
abortions?
guys.
How
Here,
many abortions?
and
A
look,
million or 2 million
and look, and that's
or
that actual
17 million?
look, that actual topic what you guys are talking about is perfect for the last question. I'm gonna read the last question. This question is coming from Al Johnson, and so we can all get you guys' answer on the questions and your thoughts on the question, and we're gonna have to wrap it up. I got to get to the radio station. If you're in Houston, I'll be on 12:30, the Source AM at 5 o'clock from 5 to 7 with Ralph Cooper. So check this out. Al Johnson says. Why do people keep talking about extreme cases, rape, incest, schizophrenia, when the majority of these pregnancies is when two unmarried people have sex, got caught up, and now believe the lie that abortion/murder is the answer. This is crooked. This crooked system made it legal. Stupid. He said, truth is truth. What you guys think about that? Go ahead, Robert.
Okay, so first of all, thank you, Mr. Johnson, for bringing that up. Now, I'm not a fan of the extreme cases either, but they happen. That's the thing. And so so the thing is, why don't they at least make concessions for those few? They even want to take away those few extreme cases. So you got to make concessions at least for those few extreme cases, if nothing else. But number two, it's like I said before. The thing that they're doing this under the guise, Mr. Johnson, he's not a politician. He probably really cares about kids, and that's probably why he's pro-life or against anyone having abortions. But the people that passed that law, they have an ulterior motive. And you have to look into that motive to understand why they're doing what they're doing. It's not because they care about kids. Because if they cared about kids, they'd be taking care of kids that were already alive outside the womb. But Alabama is one of the poorest places and one of the worst black places for black people to grow up, black children to grow up, because of the fact that they don't insure. They cut insurance to poor black kids. They cut education to poor black kids, and they decrease the social safety net in their state. Because and there's kids that go to bed hungry in Alabama. So if they were doing all of those things because they love kids, then I might be able to be like, they're doing this abortion thing because they love kids. But that's not what they're doing. They're doing it merely on the basis of a religious dogmatism. They're doing it to control people. They're doing it to marginalize and infringe upon the rights of women. And they're doing it to provoke a fight at the Supreme Court level in order to allow states to ban abortion and to regulate women's bodies on a non-political medical issue. So we got to look at this thing 360 and a nuanced type of deal. Don't think that they're doing this because they love God or they love children. That's not why they're doing it. They're doing it purely because they have power and they're trying to flex their muscle in order to control women. Point blank.
Okay. Antoine Cynthia McGee says, he's so calm, and the others are so angry. She's saying, you calm, Chris. They saying y'all angry. Nasha Day, you angry? And what do you think about what Al Johnson said?
I was going to kind of piggyback off of what Robert just said.
Okay.
Under, like, extreme duress, a lot of people do things for stressful situations. So, yes, two people end up having sex because it's probably the easiest thing to possibly do. But a lot of people don't want to be held down with the responsibility of raising a child because then you got to go into the system, especially financially. You cannot take care of a child. So now you're underneath the system and the government and blah, blah, blah. There's people who make that decision not even based off of medical reasons, but, ethics. Like, I cannot raise a child right now. So I'm not going to keep this child. That's my right to make that decision for myself. I believe that it's not right that they get to dictate whether or not a woman does that. It has nothing to do with God or anything like that. There could be a woman who's a Christian who absolutely loves God with her entire heart, but she knows that she cannot financially take care of a child. It messes with the mental. It messes with the physical. It has so much more aspects to it, and nobody is really thinking about the woman. They're more thinking about, I'm thinking more of the future than anything. So, yes, they messed up. They had sex. They had a child. But I'm more upset that they had to make this decision for a lot of women. Because like Robert said, 360, it's more than just those people. yeah, there's a small percentage of people going out there and doing that. There's people that are actually doing it for health reasons or because they cannot afford to take care of a child. It's not their decision to make. Human rights should be that I make my decision for myself. So that's what I'm upset about. That's why I'm angry, because coming from a woman who's been around a lot of women who've had to get abortions because they were in a healthy relationship, but they could not take a child on their body anymore because it's taxing for them and it could possibly kill them at birth and their other children. So that's why I got mad at Chris for saying that hopefully she has a husband at home to take care of the other children. Those children need their mother. But that woman needs her life. How dare you even say something like that?
Okay, Chris.
That's what made me so mad.
Okay, Chris. What do you want to say back to what they said, and also touch on Al Johnson's comment? And because I know you're going to say something that they're going to want to reply to, I'm going to ask them to keep the reply short because I got to go. I got to go. Go ahead, Chris.
Well, how about this? I agree. My mind is changed. I realized I was wrong this whole time. God does not exist, and religion is set up to control people. People, especially women in Alabama, especially black women, need to be able to have as many abortions, as many abortions as necessary for them to be able to make more money in their lives and not suffer. It's really sad that men are trying to control women's bodies because they're so delusioned into thinking that it is God over Christ, Christ over man, man over woman, woman over children. It's so sad that I was blaming the weak men in Alabama and all over the country for having so much sex with women and being slaves to that kind of pleasure and corrupting the women's minds and becoming beta weak males and destroying the black communities. I'm sorry, it wasn't the weak black men who are causing these problems with education, not teaching their children, not guiding them, not leading them or showing them the right way to go. It's not the black man's fault for not doing that. It is the evil white Christian politicians. It must be, because that is what everyone says. So I guess my mind is changed. I see the light. We
Chris
need
hit him
more
with
abortions.
the sarcasm.
We need,
Right.
Can I say
we
I
something?
need
like
more
that.
Can I
Chris
say
I like
hit
something?
him
that.
with the
You're going places.
sarcasm.
You're going places,
Can
dog.
I
I
say
like that.
something? It's
Go,
more than just black people. I know a lot of white,
uh,
Asian, and
she's
Mexican
right.
women and all cultural women who are affected by this. I really wish you'd stop blaming it on just black people. It's not just black people.
why
There
you
are a
blaming it
lot
on
of
just
women that I
black
even
people,
listen to
Chris?
right now.
No, she's definitely right. Black people make up 13% of the population and are responsible for more than 50% of the violent crime. It is not their fault. Black people are having 70% of their children out of wedlock. These are all higher race than the other races, but it is not their fault, and we should not speak specifically towards black people about it. Black people don't have a problem in the ghetto
Women.
communities where they're fighting and gangbanging and killing people, where the average black male who dies age 15 to 35 dies from homicide. They don't have problems like that in the black community. We should focus more on the white community and the Mexican community where these problems of murder and abortion and gangbanging and prostitution and all this mess really exist and are very prevalent. Because there's a small amount of that in the black community, but there's a major amount of it in the white and Hispanic communities where they're gangbanging, killing,
Look,
and all this mess that they're
Chris
doing.
hit y'all with the sarcasm today. Chris
Oh, wow.
with the sarcasm. He's making points via sarcasm. He bringing it through another vehicle today. Hey, you guys, look, give me you guys' his final thought. I'm going to go ahead and have to wrap it up. Hey, Uncle Malin watching. Warren, thank you for watching. Greg M. Beatty, if you guys get a chance, go over and listen to the Sports Court. Tune in to his channel. He do it on Facebook as well, Greg M. Beatty. And if you guys are here, if you haven't went over to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the Soapbox Heroes channel on YouTube. We're trying to get 1,000 subscribers. We running uphill and we breathing hard, so I need you guys' help. But help us out. We trying to get there. We did some reporting the other day on the Pamela Turner case, the lady who was shot by the police officer here in Houston. You can go see what we got so far. I even asked questions with the mainstream media the other day, and they wouldn't let me share it. Robert, tell them I tried to share it, and forever they would not let it post. They just kept taking it down.
Yep, I shared it too. They took it down. Yeah, shame on you, Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg, if you're watching, shame on you, buddy.
Hey,
I know you watched the show.
I noticed they let it run though after the mainstream media, after they played it on the regular news, then they let us share it. But hey, you guys, real quick, let me get hey Chris, Antoine Cynthia McGee says, love this brother's sarcasm.
I don't know what you're
Chris,
talking about.
Chris, hey, that was pretty good, Chris. I'm not gonna lie
I
to you.
love,
Go.
I love it. It was very satirical. One important point that he made that I think there was an error though, was the fact that he basically made the claim that it's because that if someone's out to blame Christian white men, the ones that passed in the legislature, and to let the Alabama legislature for doing this, I'm saying that basically. I always put the onus on the people for electing these idiots. They already knew what they were getting. But when Pat Robertson says that the law is a little extreme, and I don't know if you guys know who Pat Robertson is, but if Pat Robertson says that this is extreme, then you're doing too much. But also, we're saying he did say something about the responsibility of black men to teach the children things and things of that nature. In Alabama, just like in any nation in the United States, you're required to send your kids to public schools. So if those schools suck and the education that you get sucks, it's not always on the parents 100%. It's actually on the school system that they force your kids to participate in. So don't do that. You know what I mean? Don't speak off the cuff.
Not really, because there are teachers that go through things, and they still got to take their personal lives and teach a child as well, and they got to deal with behaviors from other people's homes. So you got to revamp that.
What I'm saying is, Alabama is a special case. Alabama is a special case in terms of their educational spending and things of that nature. Okay, they are terrible when it comes to education. They are dead last in education in the nation. And they don't care about kids. That's why they suck at education, and they suck at feeding hungry kids, and they suck at giving health care to kids. That's because they don't really love kids in Alabama. And that's
The
the
black
legislature.
men there don't either, because they keep
the
having sex out of
wait,
wedlock,
the
and they're not
legislature's supposed
taking
to
care of their children.
Hold on, but the legislature is supposed to be above us. The legislature is supposed
No,
to,
they're
like
not.
you said, women. You said the
No
women
man is
don't care
above me.
about.
The legislature is supposed to work for us. The government work for
You're saying
us.
women
All
care
right.
about black
No,
kids.
They don't.
No, they don't. They control us. We don't have a mind of our own. They control us.
No, they control you because you let them.
And
They
the
don't control
legislature.
me. They don't control
No,
my
Maybe
family.
if we broke the root of our traumatic past, maybe we can progress forward, and this stuff won't happen, and we can rule our own selves.
All right,
In
hey,
all
you
of our
guys,
ways.
hold on. Can we put a timeout on this and come back and do it later on this evening? I'm sorry, I gotta go. I gotta be to the radio station. I'm gonna be locked out, begging like that guy. You know them memes when you be looking in the window? That's gonna be me looking in the window. So I gotta roll. I want to thank you guys for coming on. We got to talk about this some more. Chris, hey, thank you for coming on. Chris, Nasha, Robert, thank you guys for coming on. Hey,
catch y'all later.
Catch you guys later. Thank you guys. Peace. Hey, and thank everybody for the birthday love yesterday. If you're watching this, man, I really appreciate it. I felt overwhelmed with the amount of birthday appreciation. I wish Facebook would notify you guys when we went live, like they notify you when it's our birthdays. Forget you, Facebook, for doing that. But we're going to get out of here, you guys. Hey, if you get a chance, share. And, again, go to the Soapbox Heroes page on YouTube and hit subscribe. In fact, these same three people were on the other day, and we had a very interesting debate as well. So go check that out, and we'll pick this back up. We'll plan it, we'll format it, and we'll get back to it. All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you.